Is a week and a half away from DJ Expo. That's one thing. It is in slow motion. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it is catch. Holy crap, that is really sketchy there. Let me try to change one more setting here, and if I can't get it to work, I'm not really sure what I can do. But I'm going to try to do some stuff here. Do that. And see if we can get any other stuff in here to kind of make things move a little bit better. Like I said, it's all sketchy in there, and it's real cut and go, so not really sure what to do here. Why tonight, for some reason, it's just not giving me any kind of bit rate or quality or anything. It's just really just kind of, it's really dragging really bad tonight. So I'm going to try one more thing. You're probably going to lose me for a second, and then I'll be right back. Again, I'm not sure why tonight I'm just getting no streaming quality whatsoever, so have to see how things go. See if that's any better. Because we always wait for people to come into the chat before we really start anyway, so that's kind of what all this is waiting. See if we got anything else there. It's still real choppy tonight. I don't know if that's even... yeah, let me know how that's looking on your end. So you might need to change something. I don't know. Yeah, it's all just... Wow, is that terrible. Yeah, I don't know what it is, why it's doing that. It's just so much... Everything's all just choppy in that, and I'm not really sure why. It's just not letting me have any kind of bit rate or whatsoever. Nothing I'm changing is changing anything to make the output better or anything like that, you know. But if it doesn't get any better, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. Yeah, I definitely do not need troubleshooting from the chat, because you have no idea how much stuff I have going on here on this computer, and it's the same one I use every week. So if you join us every week, it's just today's is the only day we're having the problem. So there's nothing different today than there was any other day. It's just the feed today is, you know, for some reason all tweaky. Hold on for 1 second. I'll be right back. All right. Let's see if that is any better. Not really sure what this thing's dealio is. I could blame Comcast for that matter. Could blame pretty much anybody for that matter. But I'm not. I'm going to blame me for not knowing how to do this better. So let me know how that's going there. See if that's any better. It doesn't seem to be any better on my end. Doesn't look any better. No nothing going on there. Why that's doing that. Is it a little bit better? Because on my end, the way I see it, it is just, this is probably going to be the worst shows ever. It's going to be like the show. No, that seems to be a little bit better there. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm waving and we're not getting any kind of choppiness going on there. Yeah, so that's, yeah, all right. So I'm happy with that now. I made a few tweaks in there. And for those of you who don't know, I'm using a program. It's called OBS. It's called Open Broadcast System or Server. I forget which is called, or OBS. Everybody knows it as. And there's a lot of little tweaks in there. When it comes to video, there's so much stuff you actually have to change and do depending on what it is. And one of the worst things is that I have Comcast internet, and even though I have a really, really high download speed, I have a 250 meg download speed, my everybody, and no matter how much you pay at Comcast, your upload speed is only 12. All right, so, and it drives me crazy why they do that. But that's like I can't even pay for higher upload. So that's just my maximum on that. So now that we're back, how's everybody doing? Like I said, we're about a week and a half away from Expo. Kind of hoping everybody is, you know, maybe going there. I'm not sure. I'm reading chat while I'm talking. I probably shouldn't be doing that. Silvio, I got your question. Going to do that here in a couple minutes. Give me a couple seconds on that. But next week's show, I may do a show where I ask some other people to jump in if they want to jump in and do a show about stuff at the expo maybe. I'm not sure. And then the week of the expo, which is the following Wednesday, I'm not sure if I'm even going to do a show because I'm not sure if I'm going to be traveling that day or I'm still going to be in Atlantic City on Wednesday. So I don't know what day I'm traveling yet on that. So we'll keep you up and informed on that. Reggie's in the chat, and Reggie asked me a question. Asked me a while back, and I forgot about it. I'm glad he reminded me, and I'm pulling it up here so we can do an example. See if I can find one. And he asks that sometimes, and I'm going to have to switch skins here so you guys can, going back, for those of you who don't know, I use a different virtual skin, and I'm going to go back to the regular one so that you guys can kind of see it. I'm going to share here in a second. All right, so if I have a playlist here, and you're going to see some that don't have anything. Where's it at? The Red X. Is that the one you're talking about, Reggie? Because I have them differently. If I use a different skin, so if I switch skins while Reggie's answering me there, I'll go back to my normal skin here. Because it's different colors for different things. You can see that they're yellow squares. And that means that at some point I have moved that. And we're going to go back to the stock skin and... yep, okay, so Reggie confirmed that. All right, so we're going back to the default. And what it is, it means that somehow you've moved the track from where... you originally, because when you put songs into the computer, and the way virtual works is different than Serato, you put stuff into the computer, and then you do a scan or a recurse or whatever you want to call it, and then what it does is it kind of creates a database. I'm messing with my mic there. That's what you're hearing, the crackling. What it does is it creates a text database that, so when it searches, it doesn't actually search all the songs again. All it's doing is searching a text file that says, Michael Jackson is a C / DJ music / 80s / whatever, and that's all it's going to do. It knows to go and look there. But if you change something in there, move that file because if you move it, I'll show you how to move it using virtual, but if you move it another way from where I'm about to show you, it won't know where it's at. So if you've created a playlist and now you've moved that song to a different folder, that playlist doesn't know to go and look at. The new smart folders, if you do it as a smart folder, it will know to follow it and look for it. But the playlist, if you do the playlist, it doesn't know to go and look for it. So first thing, going back to here, you can see the X there. What you do is you right-click on it, and then the very top one right there, you probably can't see it because it's not zoomed in on the broadcast, but it says relocate missing file. So all you're doing is you're picking the file there, right-click, relocate missing file, and it should bring you up with a file system where it was. So it was in the Latin. So we do know that I'm looking for this song here. So if I just do a search right there and do a search for... did I even spell that right? All right, so there's two there. So I know that I'm looking for the DJ JRS edit, which is right there. So if I double click on that, now that file is located and it loads. But if I wanted to move that, I can go right click again. Let's say I wanted to move it instead of moving it outside of that. I'll find another one here again and show you that again. But if I go to file operation and then move to, it then gives me a choice to move it somewhere or make a new folder and put it somewhere else. And if you do it this way by moving the song or songs, because you can move a group of songs, this playlist will not lose where it was at if you do the move internally as opposed to just moving it externally and just dragging it from one file to another without using virtual. But again, we'll do this again here. Right click, relocate missing file, and you can do the search in there for it. And it will bring it up, and you double click or hit open, whichever you want to call it, and then it finds it, and then that song is boom. So did that, Sir Reggie, answer your question? Hope that did. Going back to my other skin here. All right, cool. All right, so we're going up here to I hope I'm saying that right. Silvio, I hope I'm saying that right. My question is, on Virtual DJ, when you tag some tracks with colors and then you enable the color column in the browser, the colors on the text disappears. That I've never had a problem with. Again, I'm going to have to go back to the stock skin because it looks different with mine. So what he's talking about is that within a song, I want to go, you can color a song, color a title. So if I go in here and then go to Tag Editor and then color, I can colorize that song. So like for mine, I'm going to color it green, okay, and I'm going to hit right to tag, and then that means that it's permanently going to be on the tag as a green color. And I'm not sure where you're talking about sorting by color, because I think I have to go, that's a right click. For those of you who know, I'm right clicking up here on the titles, and then you can add different things here like color. There it is, because I haven't used that in a while. And you can sort by color, because it's one of the wonderful things about virtual is that if I'm going to leave the playlist here for a minute. We're going to go to here, and we're going to bring that up to, and let me find some color tracks. Okay, so, oops. Different ones that are colored. You can see that I've colored stuff that's, most of the time it's usually a mix or an edit that I've done. I color in blue. But if you go back to color, you can sort by color if you want, because that's one wonderful things I love about virtual is that it lets you sort by play count, it lets you sort by color, so therefore it will put the colors here. So you can actually, let's say, for me on the red ones, that means that it's a song that has bad words, or maybe it's a bad edit. That's why I just choose my colors. My blues are usually stuff that I've edited. It's some way, whether it's like right here, it's one of my clean redrums or something, and there's the one that we colored before. But on mine, my skin, again, depending on what skin you're using, it looks a little different. So if I have the color bar open, you'll see it sortable by color. But if I close the color bar, it then colors the words. So you can do that two different directions. I choose to do it this way, but you can, again, right-click at the top, hit color, it then adds your color bar. Now, I have never had a problem with them going away, and here's something that I do a lot, and we're going to go back to my other one. We're going to get rid of color, and then the tracks are color because I like doing them that way. I don't sort by color. When I'm doing it, it's usually just play count, so that I'm able to like do a search for, let's say I do a search for 100 to 105 BPM, and then I have my play count by how many I've played. So therefore, songs that are really hot are obviously going to be at the top by sorting by play count. So the colors aren't important to me that way, but you can, like I said, you can bring that up, show the color column, and sort by column. But what you want to do a lot is you want to go over here to your main folder and hit recurse. And what it does a full search of everything in there, so that anything you've added, anything that's changed, it's now exactly where it should be. And it kind of files it that way. And I'm going to sort by color because I want to get rid of that green color. Give me my colors back. Come on, dude. There we go. So I want to take the green off of that. You jerk. Where's my green at? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go there, right-click, Tag Editor, no color, write the tag. Then from now on, it no longer has a color. Get rid of the color beams, search by play count, and we're back to that. So, hope that that answered your question and didn't confuse you. Yeah, it all depends on, that's one, again, why I like virtual so well, because it lets you make things how you want it. So if you want the color column, you can have a color column and sort by color, which a lot of, like I said, if you really get down to your tagging and editing that way to where you have certain things colored for things, that helps your search out. That's great. If you want it just as a visual thing, which is why I do the words as opposed to that. So as I'm my search for that BPM range and just want to start whipping through, and like I said, I know the stuff that's in blue is my edits. Those are ones that I'll usually grab because there's something that I did that I purposely want to start using them. So that's why I do that. Write the tag. You understand when you're tagging. Okay, I'm jumping around here in the chat. I apologize about that. So I should read the things in the chat before I tell you what I'm answering. The thing I answered before says, I guess when the color column is presented, they don't think the words need to be colored. I'm not sure why it does it that way, but it does it. That's their choice, the way that Virtual does that. I'm not sure why they chose to do that. And the second thing, Paul asked, is the difference between hitting write the tag and hitting OK. Write the tag, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to take a little step back and explain what tags are in the song. Let me go back here to left screen. All right, so the tag is the information within the song that's the data within there. So it's going to have the name of the song, and if I can, see if I can do this here. Oops, that's not what I want. We're going to go to right here, and if I bring up a song in here, let me just bring up a song, and I hit right here, and I have a program that does tag editing externally, and it will tell you the name of the song, the year, and this is all stuff that's in the data that's shoved in the song. So if I give you the song, this kind of information is going to be in there, the key, different things like that, okay? So I can even put my own album art in there. So when I do my edits, I put my own album art in there. So if I give someone the song, it has my album art with my picture, and people know that it's my mix. Doing that with inside Virtual does that from, again, the tag editor, right-click, tag editor, and it gets you information on there. And you can add anything like genres. So if I wanted to change some genres here, and I'm just going to go through some of the songs here, and it'll bring it up. It's actually running really slow tonight. That one may not even be tagged. Yeah. So there's pop, and there's different things like that. And you can tag it whatever you want. So like if I have right here's a good example, EDM House Classic. So I'm looking, if I search for EDM, which is electronic house music, for the electronic dance music, subgenre house, classic meaning it was a hit at some point, I can search really detailed within my searches and do something like 120 to 128 BPM space EDM space house, or just maybe EDM. So anything that I've tagged that is EDM, that shows that BPM range, EDM classic, will come up in my search, and I can even do it by year or whatever. So when you go into the tag editor, you have all those things to work with, including album art, which is one of the cool things that Virtual does, is that by clicking on the album art, it will go and find the album art, and you can pick what you want to pick to make the album art. I want to make that the album art. So now that's now the album art for it. I can change the year. If I don't know the year, put the year in there. And then when I hit write to tag, what it does is it writes it into that song's data, so that in the future, if, like I said, I give you that song or I move that song to another computer, that information that I've tagged it with, color, genre, whatever, travels with that song wherever it goes. So that's why I say tagging is important. When I get a new song, I instantly tag it with the BPM, the year, the genre that I want it to be, album art, or anything else I want to color it, whatever, and then write to tag puts that in the tag. So from now on, if I do backups or if I change computers or whatever, I always have that information with that song all the time. So it goes with me everywhere I go. So I hope that helped there. Yes, there is an automatic update on the tags, and there's also a right-click. It is called reload tags. So that means if you update tags and hit reload tags, that means it will update them all right there. You can add lots of things. Like one guy there said he added first dance to songs. I have a whole section in my computer where, let's say it's the genre is R&B or country or adult contemporary, I put after that slow dance. So that means that if I'm somewhere and someone wants a slow dance, all of those songs that can fit into or be used as a slow dance, because I don't do weddings, so a lot of the first dance stuff, none of that matters to me. So he uses the tagging as first dance. So those are songs that can be used that way. I tag a lot that is slow dance. So I can hit the slow dance, just type slow dance, search for it, because I have like one school a year that they like to do slow dances. Nowhere else do I ever use slow dances. But I have a list of slow dances that pop up, and I can just search, scroll through them, and go. So again, why I like to do the tagging. Right, Paul. Exactly. That's a great way to explain it, Paul. It adds it to the virtual database by changing that, by hitting write the tag. It not only adds it to the virtual database, but it adds it to that song's tag information. So that's the one where it travels. If you just type it in there, it stays within virtual. But if you hit write the tag, and then now I give you that song. So let's say you make an edit of something, and you put all that information in there, but don't hit write the tag. You just hit OK, and then give me that song. All the stuff you put in there is gone. I don't get that with that song. But by doing the write the tag, it follows the song wherever it goes. That's a great explanation. Yeah, that's thank you for throwing that in there, Paul. I couldn't really find the words, but that's, like I said, it goes in there. A lot of people hit OK, and then later on they'll transfer and I put all this information into here. Again, each individual song, video, because like I said, majority of the stuff I throw in there is video, so we have to do stuff that way. So it throws it in there. So do appreciate that. We have a great, I don't even know how many people's in the chat tonight because I'm not even looking at that. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know this summer's been kind of weird because I really haven't done anything other than these live ones where I'm here at the decks and answering questions, and I hope that's what you like. Again, I maybe think it's boring. I don't know. I don't know how to really, to me, it's sometimes a little boring. I turn my mic down there a bit there. So, but I hope you guys are enjoying it. I definitely want to take some time to thank our sponsors because without them, we cannot do this show. It is virtually, that's no pun on virtual, but it's not an easy thing to do without that. So we definitely want to thank our sponsor. We take a couple minutes to do a little commercial break, and then we'll be right back. Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and DJNTV Insiders. Again, we want to say definitely thank you to our sponsors. Go check them out in the link below, in the show notes below. There's information on and links to go to our sponsors. Click on them, purchase something, let them know that you saw them here on my show or another show, and we appreciate that. All right, back to the lab. Cue points. Does it write the cue points to the tags? Cue points and tags are weird because yes and no, but more no than yes. Because Virtual will read Serato cue points. So if you have Serato and Virtual on the same computer, or let's say you have Serato on the computer and you load Virtual and do a scan of all your songs, it will also see within the Serato folder all the information about the cue points, and it will put it into Virtual. I do not believe it does it in reverse. I would probably have to check on if the cue points go that direction, but if someone knows in the chat, like I said, I never claim to know everything, but that's a good question. So if somebody can even go online right now, look it up and let us know, because I really don't think about that, because like when I do the transfer of Virtual, I've been using it so long. I know Virtual 7 to 8, that it did transfer all over my cue points and play count, because like I said, last week we covered about two weeks ago, whatever it was, on a Monday night, we covered about what to take over with you and transfer, and all of that stuff goes over. So let me go back here. Beatgrid, are you when the question is there, how does the Beatgrid work with older songs and live drummers? Give me a little bit more explanation. First off, Beatgrid, are you talking about the Beatgrid effect? If that's what you're talking about, let me know that to make sure. And when you mean by live drummers, let me know by what you mean by live drummers. Live cue point drumming or a live person drumming somewhere else. We'll come back to that one. In Tractor, it does write at the tags. Yeah, it does read 7 to 8 old databases because I had that worked perfect for me when I went. And I actually had someone contact me this week asking about 7 and stuff, and I got to looking in there, and I realized that the last time that they did and ever will update Virtual 7 is 2016. So if you're using Virtual 7, that program will never be updated ever again, and the last time that it was updated was 2016. So if you're still using 7, I invite you to give 8 a try, or now as it's called, Virtual DJ 2018. It's the same thing, it's just a different build. It's not 2 different programs. Give it a try. I love it because I think it does so much more than the other one did, and I waited for a couple of years that it was out because, like I said, they released it in 2016, and it was last year sometime, 2017, so I waited about a year, I guess, before I started using it because I wanted to make sure all the major bugs were out of the way, and they did a great job of cleaning it up. And like I said, I have no problems with this thing at all. Talking about the downbeat, okay, for them. Okay, so let's go back to the screen here. All right, so if I pick a song here, the one we have, I know that I didn't scan this at all, so I know the downbeat markers aren't right, so I know they're not right. Let me jump ahead. So if I were to hit that effect he was talking about, hear it there? Let me bring it up and let you see it. So you can see it in action. Oh, not beat break, beat grid. All right, so this is the old beat grid, I think. Yeah, that's the old one, so I don't want the old one. I want the new one. Sorry about that. I have so many in here from trying things. Should be in here. Beatgrid. All right, so what it does is the Beatgrid makes a stutter pattern in what's called slip mode, where the song continues to play, but it will stutter however you set this up. And there are 8 slots here of different ones you can do. So all it would do would be, if it was going across here, stutter, 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 nothing, out. So if I go back to the first one, and as I'm going to play and I'm going to hit it, you'll see them light up and go across there. We'll go to the next one on there. This one changes up a lot. So these are different ones that you can do for an effect. So I like the first one. I've always liked the first one. Don't even have to let it run all the way through. And if your downbeat markers right here are not correct, that is only going to stutter wherever it says that the downbeat markers are. So if I move that downbeat marker here, and I'm going to set it right here by hitting tap, and I can hit tap on the controller deck or on that, right here, it now moves that downbeat marker there. So if I'm playing that and then hit the Beatgrid, it will not be correct. Hear how it's off? So it has to be, to make any of the effects that use the downbeat markers, I'm going to reset it in its right spot there, to use the downbeat markers on any of the effects, to use any of the effects that work off the downbeat markers, you have to have them right. And if you have, you're saying not the effect, what are you talking about there? Okay, we're going to get into the BPM part of it here. If you're not talking about the effect, then what are you talking about Beatgrid? Are you talking about downbeat markers? Because that's they're 2 different things, just to maybe check. I think you're talking about downbeat markers. So let's clarify that. But like I said, if you're using any of the effects like that that go off the downbeat markers, it will be wrong. The effect will only go on the downbeat markers, and you have to set them. So just to clarify, when you come back to me about the downbeat markers, and then you can correcting the hold on here. Because Silvio's answering for other people. I want to get the other people who are asking the questions to answer that. Who asked that question anyways? Yeah, Silvio. I hope I'm saying that right there. Silvio, relax. You're hogging up the chat there. Relax. There's different ways to edit that. You can go in. I'll go back to the left screen here, and you can tap it in on beat by using, like I said, on the deck. There's a tap button or tapping it. But older songs will drift. So if I wanted to reset this, let's say I'm going to move this here, and I'm going to offset it on purpose. So if I start playing this now, turn the volume up, I can hit the tap button, which I would either hit it here or on the deck on beat. Tap, tap, tap. And it puts it on. So, but if you have an older song that does that, there are editors that will let you go into the Bpm Editor, and you will have to set individual ones. You take your, it's best to do it with a mouse that has a scroll, because that's how you do your zoom in and zoom out. And you're going to set in things there. You're going to kind of get the BPM where you want, do the variable BPM, and then you're going to set in different anchor points in there. And that's kind of all there is to it, is you have to go along there, then you go along a little further, find something else, set an anchor point in there, and you're going to go through the whole song. And then what it does, the same as if I'm using Ableton or something like that, is that it takes the song in the section. So let's say I set a beat grid marker here and then set a beat grid marker here, and because in the song where the person played it live, it's off that tempo, it will then shrink or stretch the section between the two markers to put it back in the proper beat with the metronome, okay? And that's basically with this. You just go in and go section by section, and some it will find quickly with the variable BPM. Other ones you're going to have to manually move them around. And once it's set and you hit save, it doesn't go to the tag, obviously. It just stays within virtual. So from then on, that song is corrected. I say the easier way to do it is go out and find one where somebody else has corrected it, because there's lots of people out there who have already taken songs that are off and done them in Ableton, where they just nudge them just the same way that Virtual does it there, but you can do it in Ableton. That's the way I would do it. I would take the song into Ableton and nudge it forward, backward, and get it all set up square, and then generate it out as whatever file I want to generate it out as. I think Ableton's easier to do it than Virtual, but that's basically all you're going to do, is you're just going to start taking sections in those beats, and the downbeat marker is going to be set because of the metronome, and you're going to move it forward or backwards to match, and then go to the next one and move forward, backwards to match, and things like that. And that's basically all there is to that. I'm reading a question here. I have a virtual folder question. I was told these are not saved on the computer. But it seems that when I make a folder and move a song on my computer, it shows up as an error. Now, Tom, we were talking about this earlier about moving it. Are you moving the song within the file, like a Windows File Explorer? Are you moving the song there? Or are you moving it within Virtual? I'll show again, in case you missed it earlier, that if you want to move a song, the best way to do it in Virtual, and you can move multiples, is right-click, file operation, move to, and then you move it. And then when you do it that way, it then, we're talking about in a file, not a virtual folder, because there's a difference between a file. So you move it this way, and then Virtual then corrects in that text database of where it's at. So you moved it from one folder to the next. It then corrects it, and it will not show up as a missing file. So when you move stuff externally, it's going to only read off the old database where it was before, but by doing it this way, it corrects it right off the bat, and you don't have to do that. What was the second part of that there? I was going to talk about the virtual folder. So if you have a virtual folder, is different, because this virtual folder is, even though it has these songs, there is no actual folder somewhere with these MP3s or MP4s, because a lot of these are videos. There is no folder there. What it does is it creates a digital folder in the computer, not on the cloud. So just to make sure that, but in the computer, creates a virtual folder that then holds almost the exact same thing as the old playlists, but it holds the songs that you want in there for a reason. Like, this is my new and pop, and then my current top 20. This is from last week's top 20. I always try to change it each week and make sure I have my top 20 in there. But it puts them in there virtually, and the thing with the folders, you can then add rules to these folders or filters, however you want to do that, and leave them for certain things to make certain folders for new songs, old songs, etc. So these are not, as I click on this right here, this is not an actual folder with actual songs. This is a virtual folder with a database of songs that then, if you were to go into the database within the computer and look at this, it's going to show this song is where it's at, which I think you can do... go to folder, and it shows that way that song I just clicked on is now in the January 2018. So we're going to go back here to this, and if we want to go shake it off and then hit, because again, this is a virtual folder and this song is virtually in there, and I hit go to folder, it's now going to take me that is when that song was put in there that year. So that's how the virtual folders work. It's not an actual folder. It's a collected database of things. And again, by moving stuff, you can move it external if you don't want to, but I do not recommend it. I recommend just doing the move that way, and then once you've moved it with that right-click, move folder, like I said, you can do groupings of songs. You don't have to do them one at a time. Immediately doing it that way, you don't have to do anything else. Virtual corrects its file database, and you don't get missing files that way. So I hope that helped. Yes, correct. Virtual folders are on the same file window where everything else is, where your plugins are, where your history is, all of that. Like go back a couple shows, and you can see where I went in there and showed all the things that are within virtual. So if you're making a backup copy, you're going to copy all of that, and all that information is going to be in there to go along with it. So, okay, next question. Check in here. How much time we got? We got some time. Again, for those of you new to the show's mainly about the mixed DJ. So a lot of the stuff that I cover is about someone who mixes for a living, not like the wedding DJ. But obviously, there's a lot of information as a person, within programs and folders and stuff that hit both audiences. But we primarily try to stay to the stuff that a mixed DJ, like I said, because that's 99% of my job. When I'm out, 99% of the time, I'm hired to do that job because I can mix. And if I couldn't mix, I would not have that job. And that's the way it is. So this is for the guys who want to go for those kinds of jobs, and the show is kind of based around that. It's not necessarily around the mobile DJ, but again, it can be because a lot of the information crisscrosses there. Yeah, thank you, Reggie, for hanging out. Reggie was the one who brought the question about the missing files and how to find them. Thank you. Sorry it took me 2 weeks to get you that answer. Apologize about that. Again, Paul, if you go back a couple weeks ago, I show you on one of the videos how to do that, how to transfer things between machines, how to correct database letter numbers, because there's a plugin for Virtual that let you change the database letter. So if it's a D drive and your stuff on your original computer's E, and you want the thing on the external drive to be E, or the second copy to be letter E, there's a plugin with Virtual that lets you do that really easily. Reggie's out. Reggie's one of our insiders, and for those, like I was talking a couple weeks ago, I was talking a little bit earlier than about 2.5 weeks. We are in Atlantic City for the DJ Expo, and for those who are part of the insider thing, they are having a get-together on Tuesday night. I can never remember the name. It's an Irish pub right on the boardwalk, and you guys can go and hang out with us if you want. The information is on the Disc Jockey News webpage and the Disc Jockey News Insiders area. So if you're an insider, go check that out. Reason to come out and hang out. I hear some very cool stuff is going to be there. Some people, some DJs. We're going to be doing some live sets, stuff like that. So you guys want information on that? If Howie's in the chat, Howie can send you to the right page or go ask him. I'm not sure where he's at tonight. Todd's in here. Todd is actually one of the people who've taken my classes. Hi, Todd. You're supposed to be working, aren't you? Unless you got another vacation day. That man has more vacation days than I don't know what. Sometimes, erroneously, I start virtual, and it takes a long time to... I really don't know why that is on yours, because I would have to see how you have yours set up. The databases, I know you have a gaming computer. I think if I'm correct, you have an Alienware computer, which is kind of the same way that mine's set up with dual internal hard drives. So I don't run an external hard drive. I have a solid state drive in here that runs both the operating system and the DJ program, and then internally a separate regular disk drive that holds all the music. So I'm not sure why yours is taking so long. Another question I always ask people: is your DJ computer used for anything other than DJing? Because to me, it's my job, it's my livelihood. So this thing literally gets used for nothing else. It's DJing and DJing only. It does nothing other than DJ related things. That's it. And doing things like that kind of helps your computer stay, without all websites and download this program or someone sent me this email. It doesn't do that. A lot of the guys I know who DJ don't even let their DJ computer ever even go online. They get it going, running correctly, and then it never goes online. Again, they transfer all their music over via thumb drive so that or a lot of them run an external hard drive, so they just hook up the external hard drive, put stuff on there, scan it before it goes on. They're real picky about things like that. And if they do a live gig and someone goes, "Oh, I have a song on a thumb drive," it is not going in my computer ever. So if you want to send me something, it's going to go through an email or Google Drive to where it can be scanned and then onto there. So I'm not sure why yours, again, I'd have to tear into that and see why it's taking longer sometimes than other times. Just double checking when you're saying you're opening it, you're talking about the computer, the program itself of virtual loading taking longer, or the computer startup taking longer. Because virtual is actually one of the lightest and uses the least amount of CPU of any of the programs, and it really is fast the way it jumps in there. I'm not saying the other ones are bad, by no means. They're all awesome. For those of you who saw the picture I posted last week, where I have now on the studio computer, I'm testing a few new DJ softwares, and I think I have 8 on there now. I have everything from Virtual 7, Virtual 8, Serato Pro, Intro, and Lite. I have crap. What are the other 2 I have now? I just got the Denon Engine Prime system. I also just got the Pioneer record box, and also the newest test version. I didn't get a full version. I got a test version of Tractor. So I have all of those now on the studio computer that I'm playing with. Virtual starting. I'm not really sure. Let me ask you also, Todd. Is it? You're using the internal hard drive? It's not. You're not using an external hard drive for your music. Ask that. DJ Pro. Here's the thing with DJ Pro. The studio computer is a Windows 7 Pro. This is Windows 10. DJ Pro, when it comes to the Windows sides of things, can only run on Windows 10. It cannot run on a Windows 7. So I literally couldn't put it on that computer if I wanted to, unless I ran a Windows 10 emulator, which I also have an Android emulator on the studio computer. So when I get to test things, I can do it that way. I can also, if I wanted to, throw the DJ program on either my Chromebook or tablet or something like that and test that also. But when it comes to the DJ Pro, it has to be a Windows 10 computer on the Windows side of things. Mac's different, but on the Windows side of things, has to be a Windows 10 computer for the DJ Pro to work. Paul, you're asking how many songs on my database, or are you asking how many songs on Todd's database to see how long it takes to load? And do you do the recursing all the time and stuff like that, Todd? I'm pretty sure yours is a powerful. If you have the Alienware computer like I think you have, that's a monster. That doesn't even have a mobile processor. That has a full desktop processor in it. So Todd may be driving, because I know that he works and he drives a lot, and a lot of the shows that he checks out for on Disc Jockey News he does while he's driving. He just has the phone hooked up, and it's more or less an audio podcast to him. And a lot of people do watch it the same way, audio podcast, and listen while they're doing other things, and it becomes an audio podcast. So I apologize if my voice and my talking is annoying to you people that are listening as an audio podcast, but I hope it's good. I try to do what I can to keep things interesting here. So we still got time. So we got about 10 minutes left. Again, hit me up with any topics you want. Like I said, when Reggie came in a little bit, like I said, last week he hit me with the question about how to find missing databases on there and stuff like that. So again, the show's about the mixed DJ and pretty much anything within DJing, mixing. That's what the show's about. So if you have questions on that line, hit me up. You're going to let me look at your computer at the end of the month when you're up visiting. That's a service charge, son. Don't you know that? No, I'm kidding. Double check when it is, because I'm out of town a lot in August. I mean, a lot in August. My last August, I think I was basically I would travel, come home, DJ on the weekend, travel, come home, DJ on the weekend. And this month, it's darn close to that. I have 3 trips planned this month already, including the expo. So double check before you show up, because I may not be around for very long. So any other questions in the chat room, let me know. Hit me up. Anything you want to see or talk about. I'm trying to think anything new that I probably should hit here. I can't tell who's in the chat tonight, so I apologize if we have 2 people or 100 people. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. And this summer, we are doing it only on YouTube. We're not doing it on YouTube and Facebook. That may be changing soon. I'm not sure. But hopefully some things can kind of get worked around a bit. We're trying to make this, as fun as possible, stuff like that. Back here. No, Tom asked a good question. We've covered this before, again, in a previous show. Pretty much I've covered everything at some point in a previous show. He asked about, does virtual show you about duplicate songs? Other than searching, sorting by song name, and it will show you the duplicate songs that way. But there are programs out there that will let you look outside of, you're going outside the virtual program. And the program, I think MP3 Monkey's one of them that will let you find duplicates and then let you choose which ones you want to delete in that. But there's no way to search for duplicates in virtual aside from sorting by file name and then just scrolling through and going that and then deleting it that way. But like I said, there are programs, and I did cover that in one of the previous shows about, and I think I listed 2 or 3 of them. I'm pretty sure MP3 Monkey's the one that I always use. And I do it every once in a while. And make sure that you don't have it do anything automated. Make sure that you set it to where you choose which ones are deleted, because you might have an MP3 and then a video version of the exact same song titled exactly the same, but when you do the search on those, it'll let you know one's a little longer, one's a little shorter, one's a video as opposed to an audio, and then you can pick if you want to keep both, which I have doubles like that in here, right and left, where one's a video, one's an audio. And again, why I do the virtual with the sorting by play count, that if I have, because I do a fair amount of video nights that I DJ using video, a lot of times either I find a video version or I make a video version of a song that I play often. So if I'm doing the play count, sorting by play count, and someone has a high play count and there's a video and audio version, I try to get the video version to be the same as the audio if I can. It'll give me choices depending on which version I want to play. But then if they're both, I look at both of those, the audio and the video, and go, they're the same, so I'm going to always play the video. I'll actually go over in that tag editor and drop that play count to 0 on the MP3 version, so that if I'm just sorting by genre or BPM, now that video version is the only one that's going to be high because I sort by play count. But if I want to search by name, it will then show both of them. So that gives you an option there. You can on the pitch bend, you can lock, because there's a difference between pitch shift and pitch lock. I will show that. The question is, how come the pitch bend uses key lock? You can turn it on or off. Let me go here to left screen. So if I'm actually going to do this. Let me go to this one and see if it's going to show better. All right, so you can see right there's the pitch for this one, and you can see me do it down here. So right now, this button right there, you can see the little I'm over here. That little thing right there is lit, and that's the pitch lock. So if I'm playing the song and it's off, you'll see the pitch of the song lower. If I speed it up, the pitch goes up. But if I lock it on 0, the BPM will go down, the BPM will go up, the pitch will stay the same. But if I want to, the old days before you had the pitch shift, because this is one of the things in virtual, this button, this knob right here, I can make it jump pitches or go down, and then hit it, goes back to 0. But let's say the old days you wanted to manually pitch that somewhere. I wanted to make it a lower pitch. Then I hit the pitch lock, and then the BPMs will change, but locked at that lower key. Can turn that off. Go up there, lock it up there. It's locked at that pitch. So that's the difference between pitch shift and pitch lock, and you can do that manually however you see fit. Whatever works for you. If you have that pitch key lock on, and again, I'm guessing that you're using a controller, not that, because again, this show's about mixing, so it's about stuff done on the controller. If you have that lit up and it's not locking it in place, there's some MIDI mapping you need to change somehow. There's something there, because if that's locked, if that's on, it's always going to be correct. It's always going to be wherever you've set that, in that, like I showed you that manual, or just set it at 0, lock it, which mine always stays on lock, so they're always locked. So if you're hitting the button on your controller and it's not locking, then there's something in the MIDI mapping you have to go check out. I'll show you the play count. He asked about zeroing out the play count. I'll show you what it is here. We'll go to left screen, I mean. All right, so if I go here and hit Tag Editor, right down here's my play count. So on this song, as you see over here, sorted by play count is 1. So if I wanted to say I played that 200 times and then write to tag, then now that's going to always show 200. So if I sort, that's now going to be at the top, because hey, I played that 200 times. But if I go, no, I don't want that version anymore, I'll go back and say 1, write the tag, and then that list is 1. So if I do a play count sort, it now jumps down in 1. So that's your sorting there. So it's almost out of time. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out. If you have any questions, hit me up with the questions. We'll bring them into the show. Like I said, Reggie's question he asked, and I forgot to answer it last week, so I had to bring it into this week's question. If you have stuff, ahead of time. But this summer shows, simply to make things easier for me, because I have a lot going on this summer between different things. Plus, I just want to get out and enjoy summertime. We've been trying to do the shows where there's not a lot of prep, so the only prep I have for the show is setting up for the show, as opposed to if you watch the older shows, I'll do a whole, a whole college course on something stupid, where I'll do stuff. And we also tried pre-recorded shows for the summer, and people didn't like that. So people seem to be liking this. I hope you guys do. Again, come back with any questions about anything. I do hold classes online, so if you are interested in becoming a mixed DJ and learning how to do it, I do hold classes that you can take singly over a software we use called Zoom, which is a conferencing software, and you'll be able to see me and I can see you, and then I can take the deck thing. So if I'm showing you how to do something, you're able to see me and how I'm mixing and stuff like that with the cameras. And then I can see you. You have to have your phone or another camera or your laptop pointing somewhere here to where I can see you doing stuff on your controller. And we work the classes that way. And if you can't afford them singly, you can do them as a group. I have someone that's talked to me online that they have a small multi-op and they want to do a class with someone. And you can do the that way if you want to. If you want to do the multi-op and 2 people, same price, whether it's 1 person or 2 people, because it's still the same amount of time. You can do that, and it's done over, like I said, it's done over the internet. So you don't have to go anywhere as long as you're cool doing it at home and you have an environment to where you can work without kids, constantly in the room, or if you're able to function with the kids constantly in the room, that works too. I couldn't, but if you're able to do that, kudos to you. But that's kind of what the classes are. And again, it's about learning that new skill of mixing, because I believe in the future, the way the young kids are growing up, they hear it everywhere. They hear it whether they're on Spotify or downloading stuff. Mixing is just the norm now. It's no longer the should or shouldn't. And when I say mixing, I don't mean like some crazy guy scratching and banging stuff. I'm talking about really, you can take it from that all the way down to just gentle, smooth blending to where you can hardly tell where one song begins and the other one ends. And that's kind of what I try to teach with the class, with the blending and stuff like that. Todd, hit me up, private message. We possibly could do that if you need that tonight. Hit me up, private message after we go off the air. But for everyone else, thank you so much for hanging out. You guys are awesome. This is a special time that I get to spend with you guys each week, and I think it's a unique show, and I hope you guys like it. And again, apologize for not having all the answers 100%. But if you give me time, I'll look them up and talk about that further on. Like, I'm going to go ahead and look into more of the cue points, and if any of the other programs themselves will able to mark cue points within tags and stuff like that. I want to look into that to see if any of them do that, because that's kind of an interesting thing. So again, until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and God bless.